Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, Mike Kruizinga, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate. Time to talk high school sports. And, we love to do a little bit of sports talking and particularly high school sports because I just think high school athletics is so extremely important to build up strong kids. It's key for them to experience competition early on in life, the ups and downs, the wins, the losses, and the turmoil, because guess what? That is what life is all about. It's preparing them for the work environment they're going to get into later in life and all that good stuff. So I think high school sports is extremely, extremely important. And so we're about to get into that. On the line, we've got Coach Carl Abseck is on the line with us, head coach down at Cedar Park, which is in the Austin area. These guys are the state champions this year and had a perfect season. So we're going to bring him on to the line. Coach, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for calling in on a Sunday morning. We really appreciate your time. How are things doing down there in the Austin area?
Oh, it's great. It's going great. Getting back into the swing of things after Christmas and getting started for 2016 football.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys had an amazing season this year. It was kind of your first year as head coach down there. But before we get into the kind of the great season that you had that was capped off with the championship, I want to go back a few years and kind of set things up. You were on the assistant staff, and so let's go back to 2012, and you guys made it to the championship and pulled off your first championship down there in 2012. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's right. We played Lancaster in 2012 and beat them 17-7.
Yeah, it's a great game down there, and you guys starting to come into your own down there a little bit, starting to build a real solid program, really getting a little more well-known. 2013, a little bit of a down year. You got into the playoffs, but then lost out in the regionals. But then coming back, 2014, we get to the finals again. And
yes,
kind of a tough one there in 2014 with Ennis, a squeaker. Tell me a little bit about that one and kind of how close you were to it, but just fell a little bit short.
Right. Well, I mean, we took the lead late in the game. It was back and forth all game long. They were a great team, and we recovered a kickoff or a fumble on a kickoff return, and then missed a field goal that would have put us up by 7. They got the ball back with about a minute left and drove it down and scored with 25 seconds left, and that was a tough pill to swallow. I mean, we felt like, it was right there, and we let it slip away. But at the same time, it served as a reminder to our kids that if we did things right, we would have a chance to get back.
Right.
So we had a bunch of kids coming back this year off of that team.
Sure, absolutely. That's what I would imagine. It'd be a tough pill to swallow. There were certainly some turnovers on both sides. There was some picks, and then of course the missed field goal. So definitely a tough one, but you were right there to pull it off. But you said, okay, we're going to take that loss and we're going to build on that. We were in the state championships again. We're building a great program down there. You become the head coach starting in 2015, and the first game out of the chute, you guys line up Alito, which happened to be the 2014 state champions. They took out Temple in the 5A D1s. And you said, hey, you know what, we're going to play them first game out of the chute, this year. And sure enough, you knocked them off 31-13, and what was a tough game, but that really kicked off the season for you, didn't it?
It did. It was huge for all of us. I had 9 new coaches on my staff, and myself being the first year head coach. So to get the season started off like that was tremendous for our team and for confidence. And Alito's a high quality program, and so anytime you can either play them close or knock them off, it makes you feel a little better about yourself, and then gives you a chance to build off of it. And that's what our kids did. I think they were confident going into the game, but at the same time, there were question marks around a bunch of us, and so I think that helped everybody relax, sit back, and say, hey, this is still Cedar Park, and let's go play football.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at all the box scores from the season, I mean, you handedly, beated pretty much everybody by a wide margin. There was a shutout in there, and a few people scored maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns here and there, but by and large, you beat everybody pretty handily. Probably the closest game, I guess, would have been the Vandergrift game. Is that right?
That's true. And they were a very quality program. They were ranked in the top 10 when we played them. We played 3 top 10 teams in the first 10 games we played. So our kids were tested, and Vandergrift was definitely a big test for us, and another one that we needed to defeat to continue our goals. And our first goal is always to win a district championship. So we had to beat them to set ourselves up for an opportunity for that.
Yeah, absolutely, and not an easy schedule at all. Like you say, several top 10 teams, tough schedule, but good to get those away, out of the way a little bit earlier on, get tested earlier on, so then you can, kind of prove yourself and move on down the line.
Right. Every time you play someone who's a high-quality program, it gives you an opportunity to see where you have to improve as a team to try to accomplish your end goal, which is to compete for a state championship. And so when you play those good teams like that, it gives you a chance to evaluate yourself and go back and work on the things that you're struggling at.
Absolutely. Now going undefeated in your first season, that's putting a lot of pressure on yourself now, isn't it?
It's hard to go anywhere.
That's right.
Go anywhere but down after that.
That's right. You just have to keep it on up there. Well, I mean, going into your first season, though, what is the pressure like? It's your first season as head coach. Obviously, you guys are building a program. You've experienced that championship in 2012, been in the mix in 2014, in the playoffs 2013, starting to build that program. What was the pressure like this year as far as stepping in as a brand new head coach?
Well, I don't think it was any more pressure than you would normally face. There's just a different job description that comes with being a head coach. And so, as the offense coordinator, I was offense coordinator for 10 years here. And so, we've had a really good run since 2010, losing to Lake Travis in 10 and 11. And both years they ended up winning a state championship, and they beat us in 2 years by a total of 6 points. So, I mean, we've had a really good run going into this year, and expectations are high, and our kids expect to win. They work hard, and so I don't think there was any more pressure. It's just added dimension to your job description.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's anytime you're coaching, at all, no matter whether you, the OC like you were for a long time, or the DC or one of the assistants on the staff, coaching, it just takes so much out of you. But then obviously you have to take it to another level once you go in as head coach, and to kind of go in there and go undefeated in your first year is pretty amazing.
It was more than I could have ever described. As far as if you were going to, wish or hope for your first season to be, it was far beyond anything in my imagination. We had a great group of kids, and my coaches did a tremendous job of building relationships with them and gelling together. Like I said, we had out of our 13-man staff, 9 of them were new to the school, and then I was in different positions. So it was a really unbelievable journey and team effort to get to where we were.
Absolutely. Well, let's go into the 2015 playoffs. Really, nobody kind of came close, kind of like the rest of the season that you had, in 2015, regular season. Nobody really kind of caught up with you into the playoffs. But then you get into the championship game against Frisco Lone Star, and, you guys had the lead for a while, and then a few things happen kind of mid-game, and then did you just start to have that feeling like, what's going on here, or did you have full control the entire time, and you weren't worried about it at all?
Well, no, I mean, you're obviously worried about it. I think, with our defense, we had a really, really outstanding defense this year, and every game going in, I felt pretty good about our defense's ability to stop people and give our offense a chance to kind of get our feet going and find some things that would work for us. But I felt like we were in control of the game the whole time. It was just a matter of we needed to score to kind of create some separation because they had an outstanding offense. Their quarterback was an outstanding player, and I felt like we could control them to some degree, but I felt that they would, eventually score a little bit. And so, the only pressure was for us offensively to try to put some things together and create some separation. And we didn't do that very well early. In fact, our defense scored our second touchdown right before half to kind of give us a little bit of breathing room. And then the second half, it was just kind of, like a big heavyweight fight. And we just kept both hitting each other a little bit. And neither one of us could score for a while. So I felt like we were in control, but we never created separation offensively that made me feel comfortable.
Right, exactly. It was
till late.
Yeah, exactly. It was there, and then it quite wasn't there, and then there was the muff on the kickoff, and there was a drop TD pass. But then, like you say, they didn't really do anything to capitalize. And but eventually you got the separation you needed at the end to win the game, and really you guys did control it the entire game. It was that's the great thing about high school sports and football and competition in general is you never know. I mean, as we watched the Cards and Packers game last night, you never know, and it's never over until it's over.
No, not at all. And like I said, that championship, a lot of it resides with our defensive side, and I think their offense had averaged, almost 50 points a game, and to hold them to 6 for a 4-quarter game is a pretty impressive feat. Their quarterback, like I said, he was outstanding, and our defense, my hat's off to them. They just kept fighting and making life difficult for them, and we finally figured some things out offensively, and were able to score late to kind of put it away. But it was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they say, defense wins games, and you got to have equal balance, but absolutely it does. And that was one of the things I was really impressed with about that game is that, Frisco was high scoring. They had the ability to put it on you, and the way that you held them was quite impressive. And probably shouldn't have been a surprise, but was a little surprising.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's you don't expect to come in and shut down an offense completely like our defense did, and they're a well-coached team, and defensively they were impressive as well. I mean, we had scored quite a few points ourselves, average-wise, and they held us to 22 early, 14 points offensively. So both defenses played outstanding in the game, and we were fortunate to come away with it. We talk about it all the time that offense wins games, defense wins championships, and that's why we put our kids over there on defense who can really fly around and make plays and are aggressive. And so it's a mentality, and our defense really has bought into that, and it's been something we've done well for several years now is play defense. And until you play it, you just kind of really don't know what it's about, and our kids take a great deal of pride in it.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, hey, I really appreciate your time calling in with us today. Congratulations on an amazing first-year head coach season, undefeated, capped off by a state championship. And, of course, you've been part of building a great program down there as the OC down there in Cedar Park, and longtime coach prior to that anyway. But just building a great program down there and then stepping into the head coach's shoes this year, an amazing feat going undefeated and capping it off with that state championship. So congratulations on an amazing season, and congratulations on what you're doing down there, building a great program, and then, of course, great wishes for this upcoming season down there.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Coach.
Have a good day.
You too. Folks, that was our high school sports segment with Coach Carl Abseck of Cedar Park down in the Austin area, state champion and perfect season, first-year head coach down there. Of course, he's been a long-time coach down there on the offensive side of the ball, and but stepped into head coach shoes this year, won the championship, and had a perfect season. So what a great coach, and what a great season for him down there. And folks, we love talking about high school sports, and, you need to support your local teams. Whatever little town you're in around the Metroplex or around the state of Texas, or if you're in a large town, support your local sports, support your local high school athletics. And if you haven't caught a high school football game, well, next season, go catch one. Friday Night Lights is what it's all about. Guess what? They're not afraid to use all 4 downs. I mean, in pro ball and college ball, we don't see anybody going on 4th down very often. But guess what? In high school, they do, and that's a blast to watch. Onside kicks, great plays. just real football. And I love it. And not just football, but all the sports. Go watch some high school basketball. Go watch some high school baseball. Go watch some high school volleyball, softball, the whole bit. Support your local athletics, folks, and that's why we like to talk about this. Hey, folks, it's been Inside Real Estate. Mike Kruizinga will be back in a few.